Hi, this is Alan Hester, President of Nividous, and I'd like to welcome you to our webinar today on using AI-powered bots for completing medical coding. Before we get into the meat of the demo and I introduce our guests, I'm just going to give you a little bit of introduction to Nividus, and then we will get on to all of the important parts. But before I do that, I would also just like to give you some housekeeping information here. If at any point you have any problems with the system, if you can't see or you can't hear, just feel free to type into the chat window and let us know, and we'll try to help you get that resolved. And then also, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, just type those into the question interface that you have on your screen, and we'll try to allocate some time to answer those at the end. And if we are not able, because of time, to get all of the questions in, we will certainly follow up with you separately to make sure that we get you answers to your questions. So let me proceed here with a quick introduction into Nividus. As a company, we have been around since 2011, and our focus really is on business automation. And we use a combination of lots of different tools to accomplish that for a lot of customers in different industries. We're actively involved with a bunch of different analyst organizations, and here are a few things that they have said about what we have been doing, which we don't need to spend too much time on that, but if you have an interest, you can certainly look into these groups and find out more information, or as I said before, you can certainly ask us and we'll give you more information. So the technology that we're going to be talking about today is something that's described by Gartner as hyper automation, but other analyst groups call it digital process automation or intelligent process automation. It's using a combination of several different technologies to allow you to automate things that didn't used to be possible. So robotic process automation on its own is able to do a lot of really interesting things in terms of automation. But when you combine it with other technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning, it opens up a lot more possibilities. And that really is what we will see today in the session. As we go through this, you'll be able to understand how complex processes like this take a lot of intelligence to be able to automate them because of all of the different information that feeds into it. And we'll certainly get into more detail on that as we go along. So I just wanted to show you this one piece here for those of you who are thinking, automation sounds good, but I'm not sure it's useful in my particular business. This is kind of an eye chart, but we can send this to you. If you're interested in getting a copy, just let me know. But this has broken down by functional areas, a bunch of different business processes that are usually really good to consider for automation. And then let me just give you a kind of breakdown of the platform itself. So there are a few different major pieces to this, and you won't see most of this today. We have been working on a demo to be able to show you, but I'm not sure we're going to have time to actually show it today. We'll see what happens here. But in any case, I just want to give you the breakdown of the different components of the system here so that you understand. There's a studio piece that's really just for development. If you're not planning to do your own development, you wouldn't need that. There's a control center, which is the piece that kind of governs all of the bots. That's where all the scheduling is done. This is also where you deploy processes and bots and you monitor everything. So all of your dashboards and reporting are through the control center. And then the last piece is the bots themselves, which are out there running on machines similar to what a human would use, and just performing those tasks in the same way that a human would, only completely automated. There is a smart bot component as well, which kind of enables the bots with some expanded capabilities, and we will talk about some of those today, but there are a lot more capabilities in there as well. And this is something that not everyone needs. You don't need this for every particular solution, but this is where you have all that artificial intelligence functionality that is built into the smart bot library, which is separated out so that the cost of the core system is kept low. And then the last piece we like to show on here is that through this platform, it's also possible, and really the way that it's built, that end-to-end business processes can be automated through this. So it's not just specific tasks, but humans are part of most business processes as well, and they can interact with the process through the control center. And then one final piece I'll show you before we get on to the demo is that we have a quick start offering, which is a great way for companies to get started who are interested in giving this a try, where you can basically get everything you need, all of the services as well as the licensing in one fixed price package that can usually be rolled out in a number of weeks. So at this point, we're going to shift gears a little bit and stop talking about Nividous, and I'm going to turn over to our guests. We have with us today Dr. Haresh Kane and Bruce Chalfie from Kane Wound Care, who will be walking us through what they have done in their business using this platform to automate the process of medical coding. And I know that most of our attendees today are in the healthcare space, so this is probably familiar to you. But if it's not, I'm sure Dr. Kane will give us a little bit of an overview. So at this point, I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Kane.
All right. All right, so thank you for the introduction, Alan. As he said, I'll briefly go over my background. Is 100% wound care for the last 14 years. My background, in addition to the wound care prior to those 14 years, is internal medicine. So I'm board certified through the American Board of Internal Medicine and also through the American Board of Wound Management. I'm proud to say that we are the largest and most significant mobile wound care provider in New Jersey. I happen to think we're the best in the world, to be quite honest with you. I can smell a wound a mile away. It's my sole purpose for being. And then just partnering up with a fantastic company like Nividous has been just kind of a dream come true. I was definitely skeptical in the beginning of what was possible to achieve, but I've seen the light and it's absolutely breathtaking what this technology can do. And I'm happy and I'm excited to share with you guys. But before I proceed, I have to bring up my good friend and partner in crime, Mr. Bruce Chalfie, who's our Chief Operations Officer. And he's gonna hate I'm saying this, but he is my mentor. He is my good friend. He's probably the reason I'm sitting here talking to you guys. He's believed in this company, he's believed in me, and he's a big on processes and systems and efficiencies. And he also has been very tickled with this technology. And I'm sure he can say a few words about his background, which is quite extensive in healthcare. Bruce, if you want to say a couple words, I owe you that much.
Just a couple. So thanks, Doc. I can't thank you enough. And yeah, so basically, folks, my background is I've been in operations and healthcare for well over a decade, been in wound care for about the same amount of time. And yes, I do focus on workflows, processes, back-end automation. And as Dr. Kane mentioned, when we originally started talking about automating our systems and processes in our infrastructure, and we discovered Nividous, it was a turning point, if you will, for our organization. And we've entered into this journey, and it's been successful and exciting and an efficient process overall. And so we too are very honored to be a part of this.
Well said, my friend. So the title of this presentation, The Undiscovered Country, and I'll get to the reasoning behind the title. In essence, it basically means, how we can move forward as a company into the future. So, okay, here we go. A glance at how Kane Wound Care is harvesting the power of artificial intelligence. That's a real issue at hand here, and how we're going to upend the medical coding world one patient at a time. So for those of you who are not very familiar with healthcare and how that system and how that labyrinth of processes works, in essence, when we as physicians see a patient, we immediately create a document called a medical record that's either a physical paper or an electronic medical record. After that process is done, where we kind of share our thoughts on the patient, we put diagnoses onto that particular record, there is a physical human medical coding team that goes into that record and then transfers that data into codes, right? Into algorithms, into codes, and ICD-10 codes. That's what they're called. There's about 65,000 codes that they have to choose in order for that particular practice or physician to get reimbursed by different payer sources like Medicare, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, United Healthcare, and so on and so forth. So that's the real reasoning behind this this venture and this initiative with Nividous. Can we, in essence, replace this human workforce of medical coders and start utilizing and harvesting the power of RPA? And the answer is yes, and that's what's really exciting about this. So that's why I title this The Undiscovered Country, to reflect that, because this is truly the future. And that's really an ode to all my Trekkie fans out there. I myself is a big Star Trek fan, and I was just tickled by the fact that I could probably, talk about this presentation in that light. So we explore how artificial intelligence will positively, in fact, impact healthcare operations now and also in years to come. So that's really an important aspect of what we're discussing here today. We also envision a future, right, where the industry as a whole, the healthcare industry as a whole, will be utilizing automation, not only for medical coding. We thought about medical coding because it's a great place to start. We identified it as an area where we have a lot of inefficiencies. I know Bruce can talk about that ad nauseum, where we've seen maybe wrong codes being created and sent to payers and claims for us to be reimbursed being bounced back, so that affected our cash flow. So we're looking at ways how we could automate, right, and automate this process. So not only will we be functioning great right now, but also it will secure our future. Because currently our group, when I say we're the largest provider in Jersey, I meant it. We see 1,500 patients a week, Monday to Friday, of which 1,200 patients are seen in nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and independent living facilities, and the other 300 are being seen in homes. And we're pioneers in that industry. And I expect us to see close to 2,000 patients per week as of January 1st of 21, and most likely 3,000 patients by Q3 of 21. So you can see the scale with regards to how our company is growing. We're growing currently at 70%, and I think our growth is going to be in the triple digits. There's not a day that goes by where an equity fund doesn't call me to see if I'm willing to sell. And the answer is always a resounding no, because we believe in our patients, just like how we believe in this technology, and we believe in Nividous as well. So we're proud. Part of our motto is actually happy people helping people. A little bit about ourselves, a little bit more in detail. As I said, we service a lot of nursing home facilities throughout New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. We have a heavy presence in Philadelphia. And again, we manage quite a few patients, as you can tell. So coding those patients is a huge endeavor, where we have 6 physical human flesh and blood coders doing that on a daily basis, all right? And this is where Nividous and their bot technology is helping us achieve exponential growth seamlessly, all right?
So this is where, I'm sorry, Doc. Yeah, so this is where that kept us awake at night, as we were looking at the growth and wanted to look at a function and a sustainability model that could reduce the margin of errors, increase efficiencies, and obviously get in the world of billing, get our claims out in a more timely, efficient manner. And that's where we took a serious hard look at this, and Nividous came into play. There is a demo that we have based on the coding that Dr. Kane has worked on with the Nividous team, along with myself and various other people, to get this to the stage that it's in right now, and we're extremely excited about that.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Bruce. And just so you get an inclination of how quickly this company grows, right, Bruce? Not a day goes by where we say, oh man, we're moving fast, we're moving fast. And people have trouble keeping up with us. Well, it was really refreshing when I worked with Nividous. We've been working closely with our engineers, how quickly they move with us. And a lot of times they're moving faster than us. We move at the speed of light. And just to prove that point, this slideshow is outdated. I mean, we're no longer a group of over 30 physicians. I think I created a slideshow maybe a month ago. We're 40.
A month ago.
Right, we're 40 physicians, nurse practitioners, and physician's assistants. So probably the next time I do this slideshow, will probably be like 50, and so on and so forth. And that's growth, like we've never seen it. Mobile advanced wound care. Again, nobody does it better. Now, Kane Wound Care and artificial intelligence, right? It's a novel idea for a wound care company. I can tell you in this space, none of our competitors are even thinking about something like this. We've reached out to our EMR provider that handles all of our electronic health records. We happen to be the first wound care practice to initiate this, which is quite astonishing, to be honest with you. We need to streamline our current business model, right, and maximize efficiencies. And before I met Bruce, I didn't even understand the concept of efficiency. But maximizing efficiency means more dollars in your pocket, means better healthcare, means happier workers, and just a better company overall. So how do we do that, right? Nividous, of course. And of course, I'm biased. We've used their product. It's working great. We've seen it in action. But Alan and his team are second to none. And I've worked with some other tech companies that have approached us with something similar. They never quite understood us as well as Nividous has understood us. And it's just so refreshing to work with like-minded people. There was never a push for us to go ahead and get this product. You could tell they were looking at the long game, at the big picture. They weren't so interested in us purchasing something quickly. They wanted to really build something and make something that was going to have tremendous value for us. And this is how we kind of stumbled into the wonderful world of robotic process automation, right?
And they moved at our pace.
Right, correct. And they move at a very quick pace. Years ago, I had no concept of what that meant, but this has been my own personal journey to that effect. And our journey to the land of AI, of course, was fraught with highs and lows, right? But I know, not believe, I know it will be a huge, huge success and a huge boon to our operations. Harnessing the power of these bots will allow us to not only streamline our medical coding, which is also going to enhance our cash flow, get paid quicker, no mistakes on the billing side, which is what we strive for. It's also going to be able to pull critical clinical information from our medical records. We do 1,500 medical records Monday to Friday at an increasing rate and growth. You know, we're experiencing growth of no one's ever seen growth, right? So these bots are going to assist us with utilizing and pulling that information, create metrics so we can share them not only with our clients and our customers, right, our nursing homes or assisted living facility. We'll be able to share that information also with payer sources like Medicare, which is a huge part of our practice. The private insurances like Horizon Blue Cross and Aetna, and you can go down the list. They want to see data. And how can we access our clinical data quickly and in an efficient manner? And the bots have shown us that they can do this seamlessly, right? Which is so exciting and which has really gotten me to this point where I'm sharing everything with you guys. But for the purposes of this discussion today, we're going to be focusing on medical coding, but just know that the bots can be used for a multitude of things. And I think Alan had a great slideshow before the table. You could use it for HR, you could use it for RCM, revenue cycle management. You could use it for coding, obviously. There's a lot of different ways you could use it. It really just depends on what your goals are as a company. So I invite you all to work with them, with Nividous, and they can probably craft something that makes sense. So they're creating a bot that's capable of learning, and they've actually created this bot. This is how quick everybody moves. That's able to learn, understand, analyze our wound documentation. That's no easy feat. To give you an example, A physical human flesh and blood person medical coder will take approximately 7 minutes to go through a medical record and create a set of codes that then go to the billing department for processing and for payment. A bot can do the same job in a minute, in 60 seconds. We've calculated that a bot can run through 1,400 charts a day versus a human coder that would probably be able to do no more than 150 to 200 charts a day if they had no bathroom breaks and if they didn't sleep and if they didn't eat. And we all know that's not something that's going to happen. The bot never gets sick, never gets called, never calls out at work, never complains, works 24/7. In essence, from an employer perspective, it's a dream employee, right? But don't worry, Bruce, you're never going to be replaced by a bot.
Yeah.
All right. So our current process for coding our medical charts, like I said, involves human labor, right? Which is strife with inaccuracies and inefficiencies, and don't we know it, right? Sending wrong codes to payers like Medicare, Medicare rejecting the claim, us having to go back into that chart, figure out what the problem was, and then resubmitting those codes. You waste time. Time is money, right? Healthcare is a razor-thin margin industry. You need to be on top of that. Huge need for automated technology, like I said, to eliminate potential lost revenue. Inaccurate coding, right? It's crucial. It's crucial that our coding for billing be done quickly, the same day, and be 100% accurate. We don't want to be constantly auditing our coders, which is the process that we have currently, and we continue to see mistakes. And again, you know, my practice has been around for the last 10 years. It continues to be a challenge. And the real challenge is, how do you scale a company like ours that's going to be triple-digit growth in 2 years? Do we keep hiring coders like this that are making mistakes and more mistakes? It is an inefficient process that has not worked for us, and we've identified that as a huge problem. And we made a conscientious effort to do something about it, thanks to Nividous. Achieving AI success, right? We're going to do that by successfully implementing this process, this robotic process automation. We're going to anticipate an increase in revenue. The ROIs are amazing. There's a fantastic return on your investment when you pursue this with them. Overall cash flows are going to be improved and enhanced, right? So we can reinvest into things that are going to make us more money, make us more profitable, and help more patients out, right? At the end of the day, that's what we want to do. We don't want to get bogged down with the minutia of the day where we're looking at coding and are wondering if these codes are accurate.
Yeah, one of the things,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Doc. One of the things for us is we're not in the business of technology per se, or, you know, all those bells and whistles. We're in the business of wound care and treating our patients the way that they should be treated, you know, and that's our mission and focus. So any allied services or assistance in that, we greatly appreciate it. We're not necessarily the experts in technology for sure, but we know what is necessary on the medical and on the practice side to be efficient and put these processes in place. And that's what RPA and bots and Nividous can do for us.
Well, speak for yourself, Bruce, because I view myself as an expert now. And I got to tell you.
Yeah, well, now you do. Yeah.
And just working with the engineers at Nividous, you know, I used to do the coding personally for myself when I started my practice 10 years ago. I used to code well into the early hours of the next morning, and then wake up 3 hours later and go see patients and do the whole thing all over again. So I learned the codes as I was going through. I learned everything I needed to know, right, with respect to this practice. I can run everything in this practice except Bruce's job, don't worry. So, you know, what we wanted to do is recreate that magic and make sure the codes were always accurate. So working with Nividous's team of fantastic, you know, talented engineers has been nothing but a pure joy, because it's actually kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone and thinking about things in different ways I never even thought possible, which is just the coolest thing, right? And that's why we're in medicine. We will constantly want to, you know, shock ourselves and stimulate our brains.
Hey,
And
Dr.
do other
Kane.
projects related to this and the technology, which we're working on as well.
Sorry, Alan?
I hate to interrupt you, but I just want to let you know that we're coming up to 30 minutes. We still have some time left here, but we do have the demo queued up if you choose to show that.
let's just hit the demo, Alan. I think that's going to speak for itself. Let's go for it.
Okay. Let's do that then.
Okay. I'm guessing you're going to do that on your end.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Obviously,
you can describe to everyone what it is that they're seeing.
absolutely.
I think some of this, it's going to start off in the control center interface. So
Okay.
I think this will all be familiar to you. Can you guys see that now?
Yes.
Hold on a second. I am not. But yeah, I can see that now. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, basically it's going through the process where you can start rolling it.
Yep.
All right, so the Nividous bot is going through its own dashboard. It's going to access our EMR. Believe me, this is the speed of how it works. It's going to enter into our dashboard on our proprietary EMR software. It's then going to locate the patient that it needs to locate based on data we're received from our clinical team. It's going to run through the wound record right now. It's unbelievable, the speed of this thing. It's analyzing, processing, and it's going to spit out some codes in the next few seconds, which is just unbelievable. Remember, this is a process that takes me, an expert in coding, as I like to think of myself, 7 minutes at least. And this thing's going to do it less than a minute, easy. So, and it's going to be accurate. It's going to be 100% accurate. I know because I've been checking the codes.
And this is actually 2 different patients that are being processed. These are the demo patients that you gave us.
There are 2 demo patients for HIPAA reasons. Obviously, we're not using any real patients here. Patients that I've just created out of figment of my imagination. And we should be able to run this fairly quickly. And like I said, 2 patients, we're thinking about 2 minutes. So I think the bot will be able to do well under that. It's going to create a report very quickly where you're going to see all these codes listed right here beautifully for us. And that's the process that we're talking about. And these codes equal reimbursement, right? You send these codes to a billing department, any billing department. You may have an in-house billing company or in-house billing person at your office, or you may use an outside platform. They need these codes in order for you to get paid as a physician or as a nurse practitioner. This is what Nividous can do successfully, accurately, and fast, quickly. So again, this is just blowing my mind because this takes time.
And in a normal world, yeah, or in a regular world, I should say, those reports are also generated manually by humans, and those reports are not sent in a 2-minute time frame or a day time frame. Those reports are sometimes weeks later, so you're already behind with trying to get it cleaned up in order to send out what's considered to be a clean claim.
Exactly. But I think the demo pretty much speaks for itself, and I want everybody to see that for themselves because we're just not blowing smoke here. This is real stuff, and I'm going to fully commit every resource that we have in the company to continue pursuing a relationship with Nividous, not only for the medical coding, but with regards to revenue cycle management, clinical data retrieval, human resources. You know, my vision is to have a bevy of army of bots working for our organization, so it can sustain, so it can help us sustain our growth. But
as long as you don't give them guns, then we're okay.
Oh yeah, right. Warn me about that. Yeah, no guns. But yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate Dr. Kane and Bruce, you guys getting on and sharing your experience with everyone today. Obviously, we're not able to go into as much detail as we would like to, but if there are any of you that are interested in learning more, we would be happy to set up a conversation with you. And if any of you are interested in great wound care, I'm sure that Bruce and Dr. Kane would like to talk to you about that too. So appreciate your time today, everyone. And we will, for those of you that ask questions, we don't really have time in this session to follow up on that, but we will make sure that you all get answers to your questions. And we look forward to you joining us for another webinar next month. Don't know yet what the topic will be, but appreciate again the time of Bruce and Dr. Kane, and everyone enjoy the rest of your day.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Can't wait for the live conferences.
Yeah.
For sure.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.